In a village nestled among the swirling mist of the Himalayas lived two brothers. Elder brother Tsagye was as strong as a yak and twice as sturdy, though his mind moved a little slower than his muscles. His younger brother, Tashi, was as small as a sparrow but had a brain that sipped like a dragonfly. While elder brother spent his days lifting boulders to impress the neighbors, Tashi spent his time dreaming of adventures beyond the high mountain passes. One morning, Tashi said, "Brother, it is time we seek our fortune," and brother agreed, for he loved a good walk. Tashi knew his brother might get tired of carrying him, so he came up with a clever plan. While elder brother was busy packing a massive woven basket with supplies, Tashi waited until his brother turned his back. "I shall go ahead and meet you at the bridge," Tashi shouted, but instead of running, he hopped right into the basket and buried himself under a layer of dried rice. Elder brother turned around, saw the empty path, and shrugged. He hoisted the heavy basket onto his back. As brother trekked up the steep slopes, the basket began to feel heavier and heavier. This rice is heavy today," he huffed, wiping sweat from his brow. From inside the basket, a muffled voice chirped, "Keep going, brother. The faster you walk, the lighter I get." Elder brother stopped dead in his tracks, his eyes wide with wonder. The rice is talking to me," he whispered. He was so amazed by his magical rice that he marched all the way to the Sinpos giant house without stopping once for a nap. By sunset, they reached a house so large the front door was the size of a pine tree. This was the home of the Sinpos, monstrous giants with wild hair and glowing eyes. "We must be careful," Tashi said, finally hopping out of the basket to his great surprise. The house was empty, but the brothers could smell a feast cooking. They explored the giant kitchen and found a massive ox hide drying by the fire. "Brother, help me carry this up to the rafters," Tashi commanded. "We shall hide and watch from above." They scrambled up the wooden pillars and perched high above the floor on a thick beam. They dragged the heavy, stiff ox hide up with them. "Why are we holding this old skin, Tashi?" Acho whispered, his legs dangling over the edge. "Just wait," Tashi replied, peering down. "When the Sinpos return, they will think we are even bigger and scarier than they are." "Strength is good, Acho, but a good trick is even better." Suddenly, the floor shook. Thud, thud, thud. Two Sinpos entered the room. They were magnificent and terrifying, with skin the color of bruised plums and horns that curved like mountain goat spirits. They carried huge clubs and began to argue about who would eat the largest bowl of rice. They had no idea that two brothers were watching them from the shadows of the ceiling, holding their breath and clutching their ox hide. Tashi nudged his brother. "Now, Acho, drop the hide." Acho let go, and the stiff, heavy ox hide tumbled through the air. It landed right on top of the lead with a deafening whack. The monster stumbled, buried under the dark leather. Tashi didn't stop there. He grabbed a heavy iron ladle from the rafters and dropped it too. It clanged against the floor like a thunderclap. The Sinpos jumped so high their horns nearly hit the ceiling. "Who goes there?" the Sinpos trembled. Tashi stood up on the rafter, puffing out his chest so his shadow grew long and jagged against the wall. "I am the great mountain eater," Tashi roared in his deepest voice. "And this," he pointed to Acho, who began to growl and stomp his feet on the wooden beam, "is my hungry pet earthquake. We have come to see if Sinpo meat tastes better than yak." Tsagye and Tashi climbed down and laughed until their bellies ached. They found chests filled with gold and enough rice to feed their village for 100 years. "You see, brother," Tashi said, patting his brother's strong arm. "Your strength carried us here, but our wits won the day." Elder brother nodded, happily scooping up a handful of gold. "I still think the rice helped," he chuckled. And so, the two brothers lived in the giant house, forever adventurous and always together.